The story opens with tourists. Greg and Heather arrive in Queensland, Australia, excited for a once-in-a-lifetime thrill, an oceanic cage dive with one of the region's most talked-about independent guides, a weather-worn, eccentric local known as Tucker. With a reputation for charisma and wild ocean tales, Tucker runs Tucker's Experience, a modest but seemingly reputable shark cage diving tour that attracts adrenaline junkies and thrill-seeking tourists year-round. His operation is rough around the edges, but with his gruff charm, sun-leathered skin, and a boat that's seen better decades, Tucker embodies the reckless spirit of a man who's lived too many lives at sea. As the boat cuts through open waters, Tucker shares an intense story with Greg and Heather about the time he was attacked by a shark as a child. He points to the jagged scar that runs along his ribs, a moment he claims changed his life forever. According to him, the experience gave him a unique respect for sharks, though there's something in his tone that suggests reverence has twisted into something darker. Obsession, maybe even hatred. The couple, unsure whether to laugh or be unnerved, take it in stride. The salty wind whips through their hair, and the thrill of the unknown keeps their nerves alive. They descend into the cage. Beneath them, murky shadows swirl, sleek, powerful forms circling in the deep. It's both terrifying and exhilarating. But after the dive, something shifts. Without warning, and with a brutal efficiency that belies his age, Tucker bludgeons Greg with a blunt object and dumps his body overboard, leaving Heather paralyzed with fear. Miles away, along the golden, sun-scorched coast, Zephyr, a lone American traveler and self-described nomad, is living her own version of freedom. She travels light, sleeps in her retrofitted van, and chases surf breaks and sunrises. At a roadside lot, her path crosses with Moses, a grounded, soft-spoken real estate agent whose car battery has died. He's friendly, sincere, and clearly taken by her. They connect over coffee and later surf together, their chemistry immediate and unforced. For Moses, this brief interaction ignites something hopeful, a rare, real connection. They spend the night together in Zephyr's van, but by morning, she's already slipping away, back to the rhythm of the waves. She leaves Moses behind and heads toward a secluded beach, eager for solitude. But instead of serenity, she finds Tucker. He approaches her with the friendliness of a seasoned tour guide, but there's a lurking menace in his eyes. Before she can react, he knocks her unconscious. Zephyr awakens in a dark, claustrophobic room. Her wrists are shackled to a steel bed frame. Beside her is Heather, bruised, weak, and terrified. There are no windows, no sense of time. Above them, footsteps echo through the floorboards. Tucker's slow, deliberate steps. It's only then that Zephyr realizes they're not on land at all. The boat is moving. Upstairs, the walls are lined with strange trophies, nautical trinkets, faded Polaroids, and dusty VHS tapes. Tucker has done this before, many times, and he's documented it all. When Zephyr tries to pick her cuffs using a broken bobby pin from her hair, it's clear she's no stranger to scrapes. But this lock is industrial, solid, and hopelessly secured. Escape, for now, is impossible. Later that night, Tucker returns. He serves them food with forced politeness, as if playing house with his captives. Then, without ceremony, he drugs them. The world tilts and goes dark. They awaken on the deck, under an indifferent moon. Zephyr is lashed to a rusted chair, her head foggy, her limbs heavy. Heather is rigged to a pulley system and suspended above the shark-infested waters. Around the boat, the sea is chummed, thick with blood, fish guts, and hunger. The smell is overwhelming. The sharks, drawn like moths to flame, thrash just beneath the surface. Tucker, ever methodical, sets up a creaky VHS camcorder and begins to film. It's ritualistic, clinical. Zephyr screams as Heather is slowly lowered, her body swaying like bait on a line. The horror plays out in front of her eyes, Heather's cries, the splashes, and then silence. The sharks do what they were summoned to do. The next morning, Zephyr is alone again in the room. Her spirit is cracked but not broken. She studies every bolt, every joint, searching for weaknesses. Meanwhile, Moses, who hasn't heard from Zephyr since their night together, starts to feel uneasy. When he spots her van being towed from the beach lot, a place she'd never abandoned willingly, something clicks. He begins to investigate. Zephyr manages to escape her room by prying a metal bolt from the bed frame. She creeps onto the deck, finds Tucker's precious camera, and throws it into the sea. But before she can find a radio or call for help, he's on her, enraged. He overpowers her, binding her tighter than before. Tucker, now desperate to continue his sick hobby, docks the boat at a hidden harbor and leaves briefly to purchase a replacement camera. It's a narrow window. Moses, tracking Tucker's van through live beach webcams, spots it parked and follows the lead. He boards the vessel quietly, senses alert. Then, a muffled scream. Zephyr. He finds her chained, gaunt, but alive. She begs him to call the police. He does. But just as he finishes the call, Tucker returns. A brutal fight erupts. The boat rocks. Blood spatters the wood. Moses fights valiantly, but is blindsided by an unexpected figure. Dave, Tucker's dim-witted neighbor and unwitting accomplice. Dave has been sending Tucker tourists in good faith, thinking it's just part of the business. But when Dave hears Zephyr scream and starts to put the pieces together, Tucker eliminates him without hesitation. Tucker then sails them out again. This time, Moses is the victim. He's strung up in the harness, bleeding from fresh stab wounds, swaying over a hungry congregation of sharks. But Zephyr's earlier advice to play dead helps him survive. The sharks lose interest, for now. Suddenly, the whir of rotor blades, a lifeguard helicopter. Tucker drags everyone back aboard, masking the chaos. Back below, Zephyr enacts a grisly plan. She bites through her own thumb to slip the cuffs. The pain is staggering, but it works. She rushes for the deck where she and Tucker collide once more. The scuffle is intense. Tucker overpowers her, again. He drugs her, again. But this time she escapes into the water. In the distance, music. A wedding reception on shore. Fireworks light up the horizon. She swims desperately toward it. Freedom feels within reach. But Tucker follows in a dinghy, catches her, and drags her back. Once again, she wakes up on the deck, and now she's in the harness. The ocean churns beneath her. The sharks return. But so does something else. Something massive. A great white, far larger than the others, arrives. It scares off the smaller sharks and circles like royalty. Zephyr, hanging in the harness, realizes the chance. She writhes, strains, snaps a loose strap, and falls. The great white surges toward her, but at the last second, it veers off. She clambers back aboard, battered, soaked, and burning with resolve. Moses lies dying. She grabs the spear gun. Tucker appears, wounded, furious, delirious. She fires. The spear pierces him cleanly. He stumbles back, topples overboard, into the same waters he once ruled. The great white is waiting. Zephyr watches as the sea claims him. In the distance, a fishing boat. She lights a flare. Help is coming. She crawls to Moses, cradling him. He's barely conscious, but alive. For the first time, there's stillness. There's survival. And in the wreckage of terror, there's the faint promise of something more. They made it.